All right, let's talk about episode 5. Honestly, this episode just felt like there wasn't a whole lot going on. I was kind of underwhelmed by it. It's not a bad episode. It's just that from someone who's trying to talk about it, I don't feel like a ton happened here. But I'll try to anyway. There's still a little to talk about here. They're now back in the real world in the beginning of this episode, which was, I was really kind of wondering how that was going to play out. I thought like maybe they were still in the house, or, would everything that had been affecting them in the house, like Jules's, inability to remember certain things because her memories had been eaten, and same thing with Margot as well. And then when the dad had stepped out, it was like, oh, so they can actually, transfer into our world. Now, I don't know if that means it's only because he's a memory of hers, and whatever entity or entities or whatever the hell the house is, can they leave the house? If so, then why aren't they more? Or are there more, of them out in the world? I don't know. So I thought it was interesting that he could leave and, kind of stalk her, and also that he still kind of had his abilities to touch her head, like pull a memory out. It had to be a puppy though. Like really, you gotta eat a little puppy. But I just was like, wow, he still has his powers in the real world. And the fact that their memories are distorted. I really like the scene where she's on the phone with her mom, and in her head she's like trying to remember her mom, and it's just this blob and distortion over her mother. Like, most of those memories and maybe her physical features have been mostly, eaten and almost degraded at this point, to where she can't really put her mother together in her mind while she's talking to her. When you talk to somebody or when you think about somebody, you envision them in your mind, and she's sitting here talking to her mom on the phone, and she just can't put her together. And I thought that was like, oh wow, so this still is going on outside. They didn't escape this, and then also, in addition to this, her dad's memory in the real world is still allergic to this medication and ends up swelling up and everything. So he shares, not only like physical attributes, but also allergies and other things of that nature. So it's suggesting that it is kind of actually him that she's manifested. But I guess that her memory of his allergies are there. So I guess that's why he still has them. But it's just like, how real is he, is the question that I keep asking. And then it was an interesting turn that, not only did, I think the character's name's Seth, right? He shows back up to save the day in a way. And even though she knows that he kind of was in on it and basically betrayed her, she's still interested in him enough, and her fake dad, or he seems more and more real as it's going on, but she's invested in them enough that she wants to then go back into the house with them to try to have some kind of life in there, which I was surprised by. I was not expecting her to go back to the house willingly. And then Jules follows her there, and now the house is gone, which would make Jules the new drifter. Like, is she going to go searching for the house in the next episode? And is she going to, I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. She's going to become that next drifter. She's going to be searching around the city, the state, the country, whatever, trying to find it. And then when she finally finds it, it might skip to 6 months later. I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode skipped ahead. And she has to go in there and try to retrieve her friend and get her out. But, I mean, how many of her memories are now gone? Will she still be able to remember her friend in a couple months while she's looking for her? Will she even remember what she looks like? I mean, I'm curious on how much Jules' memories are history. And by the time she gets there, will she even be able to retract her from there, take her out of there because she's so far gone? And is there a way to get your memories back? I mean, there's still so many questions, and we only have one episode left. So they have a lot of explaining to do, much like Lucy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wish this episode had a tad more going on it, but it was creepy. I mean, the atmosphere is still here. I really like that scene where he's watching the two kids in the yard, and then like the dad comes out and tells the kids to go, and then he looks back and he's gone. Reminded me of, the famous Halloween scene when Jamie's looking out the window, or Lower East Road, and Myers is just gone all of a sudden, which is impossible. But whatevs. I love that movie. So anyway, yeah, really, really looking forward to it. So until next week.